Welcome to Quack&Co, the channel where everything is 10 minutes or less guaranteed. So hit that subscribe button down below, you don't have long to do so, and let's go ahead and start talking about Marvel Champions. This is a review built around the best and the worst elements of the game. So, we'll start with a quick overview and then let you know the details. Marvel Champions is going to be a card-based deck construction game where at the start of the game you either take one of the pre-built superhero decks or you craft your own from the box of modules and the countless numbers of variable cards and different effects and actions you can take. You're going to build a hand of cards and then go up against one of varying different villains, narrative stories, and events. The object of the game is to play through a sequence where whoever you're facing off, like Mordak here, is going to have his own mission, his scheme he's trying to complete. And you're doing your very best to fight, take down his health, reduce the amount of success he has on his scheme, and which is really kind of the timer mechanism of the game, and take out any minions that pop up along the way. Like we have the Wrecking Crew here who are going to pop up in front of you. You'll be utilizing your powers as a superhero and honestly taking part in a lot of thematic gameplay where you're going to be sequencing and playing cards that either work with your ego or alter ego. Your main superhero role will be someone like Iron Man who's grabbing pieces of his robotic suit onto him, firing laser beams out of his hands and rocketing up into the sky to do massive damage. But his ego, or his alter ego, is of course going to be Tony Stark, who's good at being a tech billionaire, connecting dots where he needs to, healing himself up and inventing new technology or getting his gear back and available to him. This game does a great job at giving you the feeling of playing as if you were one of these Marvel superheroes, and is exploring an IP that is rich and covered with theme, with story, and of course with amazing artwork. Throughout the course of the game, you'll be making tactical decisions, and you'll either be working as a cooperative or a solo puzzle. In the cooperative mode of the game is going to scale based on the number of players, where different characters have different health or need to complete certain amounts of scheme, which is, again, the timing mechanic of the game, before you've been able to complete it. In the solo mode of the game, which is honestly my preferred way to play, you'll create your custom deck and then go head-to-head against a villain, trying to knock it out. It's a tight squeeze, and really comes down to playing card after card from your hand to get the right order, the right sequence of events, and manage a lot of escalating failure points so that you win slightly before the game makes you lose. Let's talk about the best thing about Marvel Champions. For me, the best thing about Marvel Champions is going to be the combination of the theme and the fantastic card play. Now, there is ways to do the deck construction that make it more accessible and easily, but honestly, I usually grab a pre-made stack of cards and go at it initially with one of the pre-built superheroes. It lets me explore the cards and really get a feel for what the designers were intending with the program. With that in mind, I'll open up a scenario, and I'm hoping to start going through Marvel Champions, The Rise of Red Skull here soon, and I'll be able to explore that narrative or that pathway. I absolutely love how rich the artwork is, how thematic every character, every event, every scheme, and every item that you're using. The characters feel immensely unique to themselves. Iron Man being able to lock pieces onto his body, Thor or Hulk, Thor being able to grab his hammer and throw it to get maximum amount of damage, Hulk being able to soup up but he gets exhausted quickly. There's a lot of side schemes, there's a lot of manipulation, and the four core elements or factions of the deck really lead into those. You could build in a Captain America who's really good at calling in allies and scheming, or you could build one who's really good at being strong and punching his way through obstacles. All of these mechanics merge really well with unique custom cards for every single character, making this a fantastic exploration into the Marvel Universe, into the powers that our favorite superheroes have, and into the stories that we get to explore in all these other mediums here on the table. The worst part about Marvel Champions, for me, is going to be twofold. First is going to be the deck construction of it. The nature of the game requires you to have piles and piles of cards, and these cards start escalating. More and more options to mix into the deck, more and more elements to make it harder to table. It's why I oftentimes go with the pre-built decks and explore the character based off of how the publisher sent me, but that's not the best or the preferred way to play. the best way to play is going to be to craft your own, to put together the pieces, to find and solve the puzzle. And really, you won't be able to beat the most advanced levels if you haven't done some degree of crafting yourself in order to get there. I love the theme and thematics of this game, but it is harder to table partially because, by nature, it is a little inaccessible. It's built off of the Arkham Horror system or the Lord of the Rings system, which are fantastic deck crafting games, but they really do make it a struggle to get back down to the table. Now, along with that, the second thing that I think is worth mentioning is this is a living card game, meaning you have expansion after expansion, module after module, which makes that deck construction interesting, provides more resources for you to create the best cards ever, the best decks ever, the best superheroes ever, but also makes it more and more inaccessible. And the longer you go without getting into the game system, the harder it is to justify, right? The harder it is to jump in at different price points. And if you're like me, if you're like most board gamers, when you get into something, you want it all. I am currently constantly telling myself not to purchase more packs of cards because I still have probably 60% of the game sitting in front of me that I haven't been through. And I need to do this first. Now, all the cards should remain available and on the marketplace due to, constant reprinting and the fact that with a living card game, they are consistently accessible. But it is important to keep in mind that if you get into this card game, there'll be a lot of depth there, and that could be a good thing or a bad thing. So, there you have it, the high and the low of Marvel Champions. This really is a fantastic game, and I have been loving getting back into it recently. So, I'm excited to be bringing more content here to the channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Hit that subscribe button. And remember, don't quack on your co.